It's time, team. Let's finish the week in style. Now, a respectful and honourable decision was made last Friday to delay the Big Friday finish with Eddie Jones. And the good news is he will be coming to you on your screens in the soon future. God bless the Queen. She was a one-of-a-kind leader. And actually, today, let's show our honour by prevailing, by leading, by learning, by forging forward. And let's do it properly. Because today you've got a great opportunity. Is when do you ever get the chance to ask a world champion for some lessons, advice, support, and inspiration? Well, the answer is right now. Because today the person in the hot seat is not a winner. He is a serial winner. He's been through everything that you can imagine, the extreme highs of success, the lows of physical pain, challenges, battles. He has pushed himself to a point of remarkable stature and achievement. He's 8 times world champion. So take notes, be present, let your ideas for yourself and your business flow. Absolutely share those learnings and your comments in the question box. They might even appear on screen. So type some comments in now, just get practice with it. Share where you're from, share what you want to learn from today's session. Because at the end, I'm also going to ask you to share what you have learned. And why am I going to do that? To increase the likelihood of you doing something with it. Subscribe now, set the alerts, join this community and get your pens and papers ready because you're about to develop the mindset of a world champion. Let's welcome to your screens the man himself, Liam Harrison.
Hello, James. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nice northern accent, and you are looking very good today, Liam. Good to have you on the call.
Thank you. Not bad for 120 fights, I guess.
Yeah, 120 fights, eh?
Yeah, 120 fights. Not too bad. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you look very handsome. Give us a comment if you think Liam is looking handsome today. I'm sure there's many ladies on the call that are thinking you are. Now, I did text you earlier in the week. We're just going to do a bit of a warm-up here. I text you earlier in the week saying, what's one of your favorite quotes? So let's just do a quick share of that. Let's get that on screen here. If winning isn't everything, why did they keep the score? So you text me through that, and that is from the great Vince Lombardi, one of the greatest coaches to ever walk the face of this planet. So why did you share that quote?
I first saw that quote quite a while ago now, but it sprang to me when I first got to the elite level in my sport and I started fighting against the Thais. Like, the Thais are the pinnacle in my sport. They're the best fighters on the planet. Obviously, it's their national sport. They are the best.
Right.
And what used to happen when I first started the fighting these guys, people would say things to me like, oh, just do your best. It doesn't matter if they beat you. At least you're getting in there. And I thought, that is the worst mindset. If you're not thinking like that when you're going into a fight, you've already lost. I've never wanted to be the guy who just nearly beat him or just did well or just came close.
Right.
I've always wanted to be the guy who's gone against these elite pinnacle level fighters and beat them. There's no point getting in there with that mindset thinking, oh, well, as long as I give him a good fight, that'll be all right. No, I wanted to get in there and not be a nearly guy. I wanted to be the guy who was beating him. I wanted to be the champion. I wanted to trump these guys. So that's why that quote always springs back to mind. It's goes back to, it was probably about 17, 18 years ago now when I first started fighting against the Thais. And that's when that quote, like, it always springs to my mind when I think about that time and how people used to act at that time. It was just not a good mindset to be in. And like today, although I am a professional fighter, but everything I say today, all the principles, all the prerequisites that we're going to go across today, they will come good for you in any walk of life, not just a fighter.
Well, look, we've prepared. We've got loads of questions prepared. We've got some topics. Wolfie is behind screen. So put us up the first topic on screen and let's see what we've got as the first question. By the way, resilience. Whoa. It's well spoken about these days, isn't it? So let's see what we've got as the first question. All right. So resilience. What is resilience and how has it helped you become 8 times world champion then?
Resilience is discipline. It's not giving up. It's not quitting when things get hard. I've had 120 professional fights. Right. I haven't won them all. I've lost 25 of those fights.
Right.
You could say in losing some of those fights, though, that has helped me get where I am. You could say it's helped me. I say this a lot. I've failed my way to success.
Yeah, well, look, I hear that in common. You know, you read the books and you know they do talk about the importance of failure. Has that been important for you?
Of course, there's been moments in my career where I've lost fights where I've thought, oh, do you know what, this can't get any worse than this, and I've been rock bottom and stuff like that. But you have to climb back up the ladder. There's also resilience also comes in as well. Like if you are taking a beating in a fight, it's same as life. Life can give you a beating. Life will knock people down, and like I say, the stuff that we're going to be going over here is for any walk of life. But a fighter's mindset, it is in any walk of life will get you far. Because there's been moments in fights where I've been getting severe beatings, and I could have laid down and I could have just give up and I could have quit. But what I've found is it's in those moments of you don't give up, of you quit. Usually that's when a little bit of magic happens. I had a fight in April this year. People have hailed it as the greatest round in combat sports. In the first round, about 1 minute in, I got knocked down with a head kick. I dropped to the floor. I took an 8 count. I got back up. My opponent, he was a Thai champion. He rushed in to finish me. He knocked me down again with a massive, massive punch. At this moment, no one would have batted an eyelid whether I stayed on the canvas. Like the shots that knocked me down, they would have kept most people down. I could have just stayed down, and like no one would have batted an eyelid. They'd have said, "Oh, do you know what? Big shot. It knocked him out."
Did it go through your mind at all, staying down?
No, because when you stay down, it becomes a habit. If you quit once, you quit one time at anything in life, it becomes a habit.
Everybody write that down now. If you stay down, it becomes a habit. If you do not get up that once, that can become a habit that is really powerful. And what you said earlier on.
Yeah, so like if I just stay down that one time, or if at any point in my career, do you know what? What's going to stop you doing it again? Think, oh, do you know what? Next fight, I'll put me all in at next fight. I'll just stay down for this one. No. It didn't cross through my mind once. I got up, and when he came in, so in my sport, if you get knocked down 3 times in one round, the fight's over. He came in to finish me off. He knocked me down twice in the opening minute of round 1. He left a gap. I knocked him down. I knocked him down again. I knocked him down a 3rd time. All this happened in the space of 90 seconds. It got hailed as one of the greatest rounds of combat sport history. I got a massive bonus from the chairman of the company, give me a really big win bonus. And it went viral, and I had messages from like famous people all messaging me going, "Oh, I caught your fight," and it was unbelievable. Of the actors, like Hollywood actors, and it was insane. Now, if I'd have stayed down, none of that would have happened. And like I say, I could have got away with staying down because the shots that put me down, they were full-blooded, big shots, and no one would have batted an eyelid. But I didn't. I got up, and like it's that resilience in any walk of life where you get knocked down, get up and try again. There's another fight, and this was, I'll go back to the first time I ever lost a fight. I was 18 years old. I had gone 29 pro fights unbeaten. In Muay Thai, in Thai boxing, that's a lot of fights to go unbeaten because there's so many ways to lose. It's not like boxing where you can just punch. You can kick, knee, elbow. There's clinch work. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I went 29 pro fights unbeaten. In my 29th fight, I went from a good level into the elite level. Right. And it was a bit of a shock. And in round 2, I fought this champion from Thailand. And in round 2, I knocked him down with the left hook. And I thought, oh, he's just same as all the other fighters. I'm going to knock him out here. I'm going to win. He got up after that, and he gave me the beating of a lifetime. And round 3, 4, and 5, in a 5-round fight, he battered me. And he absolutely wiped the floor with me. And again, no one would have batted an eyelid if I'd have just succumbed to the beating, gone down, and I lost. But I didn't. I thought, I've made my bed. I've got to lie in it now. I can't quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to take my beating like a man. And that's what I did. And by doing that, everything else can be taught, but you can't teach heart. You can't teach that. You can teach technique. You can get fitness. You can do this. You can work harder for fitness. You can't teach heart. And I showed that. So I won the respect of everyone, although I didn't win the fight. And that was a big life lesson for me. That I took the beating. I stayed in there. And then that was the best thing that could happen to me because the lessons I learned from that, it helped progress me to the fighter that I became afterwards and the fighter that I am today.
Look, there's something that you said earlier on there. You said that, when you'd been knocked down that twice, and but Mike Moss put a question in there. You said he left a gap. He left the gap, and I went in the gap. I wonder how, metaphorical, making this up actually, how many gaps there are, when you've just seen them gaps, seeing them opportunities, how important is that just in general life?
There's gaps everywhere. There's a gap in the market to do something. There's always that little bit extra. You might think, oh, I can't do that. There's always, you can always do it. And
Yeah.
even if you think you can't, try it. You've got nothing to lose. Like I said, if I got up and I'd have tried to knock the guy out and I failed, it didn't matter. He'd have won, but at least I got up and I tried. If I'd have stayed down, I wouldn't have known that I could have got up and knocked him out and won the fight and won that bonus and all the rest that came with it. But by getting up, you open these doors for yourself and you open up these gaps by getting up. Me getting up opened that gap. He didn't do it himself. I did it by dragging myself up off the floor when I didn't think I could.
So if you were going to give people any tips on this, and there's a lot of people in business on the call, there's a lot of people into personal development, they're in all different walks of life. How do you genuinely develop resilience?
Get out your comfort zone. Nobody ever got rich or ever got to the top of their game by being comfortable. Ever. No one ever did that. If you want to get out, you want to be the top of your chain, whatever it is, whether you want to be a fighter, whether you're in business, whether you're an actor, no matter what it is, just get out your comfort zone. So when I did this, that was after the fight I just told you about when I was 18 and I took that bad beating off that Thai champion. I'd gone 29 pro fights unbeaten. I had the choice. I thought I can stay in England. I can carry on padding out my record. I'll fight these good fighters, but not the elite fighters, and I'll keep beating good fighters. Or do I go to Thailand? Do I leave my family here? Do I go live in Thailand? I live in the gym. I train how they train. I fight how they fight. And eventually I'll be able to fight with those guys. So after that fight, the beating that I took, it was playing on my mind every day, every night. I remember it. It was in November 2005. 2 weeks into December, Christmas was coming up. I said to my girlfriend, who I've been with for 3 years, I said, I'm sorry, I'm off to live in Thailand. I said to my mum, I said, Mum, I'm not going to be here for Christmas. I'm going to live in Thailand. That was my choice there. I needed to do it. I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I needed to go. I had to prove to myself, will I ever be good enough to fight with these guys? Because that what I just did when I got beat up, that wasn't good enough. Can I get to that next level? And the way to do it for me was that up to everything. I left my power. I was still living at home. I'm only 18. I left my girlfriend. I broke off the relationship. I went to Thailand. For the first 6 months, I lived on a mattress on the floor in the gym. I lived how all the Thais lived. And I wanted to live exactly how they did. I wanted to train how they did. I wanted to fight how they did. I wanted to do it all how they did. And that was 2005. In 2007, I had 10 fights, 8 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. I fought 3 elite Thai fighters. I knocked all 3 of them out. And I got recognized in Thailand as one of the best Western fighters living in Thailand. So in the space of 2 years, I went from getting the severe beating that I got, and in 2007, that's where I was. It hadn't taken me long, but by getting myself out of my comfort zone, I'd leapfrogged everyone else who were just like cruising along. But I was out of my comfort zone. I was doing it the hard way. I was doing it how they did it. I was testing myself every day. And that's what you got to do. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, in any walk of life, test yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Do not be comfortable.
Let's look at the next topic. Now, you've brought this up behind the scenes, for me. I'll just put that on screen there. Obsession, being obsessed with what you're involved with your goals, etc. Now, check out this quote. What do you think about this? If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. What are you?
Yeah. I love that. Like I said, do you think I wasn't scared leaving my family and going to live in a gym in Thailand with loads of Thais? I couldn't speak Thai at that point. I didn't know anyone there. I'd never not lived away from home before. It was terrifying. And especially when I got into the gym and the Thais realized I could fight a little bit, I was getting a bit bullied by most of them because they all wanted to prove a point.
Yeah.
They all wanted to, they'd wait for me to get tired and they'd jump in fresh and they'd beat me up in sparring and they'd make a big deal out of it. I had to earn their respect. That was scary. But my dream, my end goal to get to where I wanted to be, I always say the quote I use all the time, is the juice worth the squeeze? I use it all the time.
There's a guy in Cam Scott. If you're watching this, he says that all the time as well. You just instantly remind me of Cam
You've
Scott.
got to ask yourself, is your why worth putting yourself through all this hardship that you're putting yourself through? Is the end goal worth it?
Yeah.
And the answer for me was yes.
Is that because of obsession? I mean, we've got that question there. How important is that in general in success? Now, you're saying it's super important in yours.
Yeah, I believe it in any walk of life. You've got to be obsessed with what you're doing. You've got to really, you can't cut any corners. You've got
What
to
does
go
obsessed mean? What does that mean? Is it?
Well, for me, obsessed. When I were in school, when I first started training, the teacher's talking to me about something. I'm looking at her, but I'm not paying attention. In my head, I'm slipping a punch. I'm throwing an elbow. I'm throwing an uppercut. I'm walking down the street when I'm 15 years old. I'm shadowboxing. People are looking at me going, this guy's insane. I'm not. I'm obsessed. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was all I thought about all the time. How can I improve myself? I wanted to watch other fighters. What do they do? How can I get better? When I wasn't in the gym, I was trying to watch fighters. Back then, there was no YouTube. I had to go buy DVDs from HMV of fighters in Thailand, and I had to watch them and stuff like that. So that's what obsessed was to me. It was just constantly the only thing I could think about. And
look, we want to hear from everyone on the calls. We've got any comments about obsession or any comments about that resilience? Let's get there and let's get some of them on screen, please, Wolf, behind the scenes. Yeah, we've got another question here. So passion and pride, these are two character traits, clearly. What role do they play in daily life for you?
Well, pride comes back down to the sort of thing like we were talking about before. Like when you get knocked down, do you stay down and do you get back up and fight? That's pride.
Is that pride that got you up? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not a quitter. I don't want to come on the internet tomorrow, the next day, and go, he could have got up. He won't hurt that bad. I don't want to come to the mirror the next morning and have to look at myself in the mirror knowing that I could have got up, because that's the worst thing. None of the internet, all these internet trolls and all the rest of it. The worst thing would be in the morning having to look myself dead in the eye, going, "You could have got up." I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep.
Does that ever play through your mind? Just looking in the mirror. You could have got up, mister.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I couldn't face myself if I had to look at myself every morning, knowing that I could have got up and knowing that I still had a chance of winning. No matter how badly you are hurt in a fight, you've always got a chance of winning. Same with life, no matter how badly it's knocked you down, there's always a chance to come back. There's always a chance. Everyone loves a comeback. Everyone.
Mr. Preston's just giving us a good question here. He lives near you, actually, I do believe. So what switch off techniques do you have? Are you able to switch off? I mean,
do you know what I've had to do recently? This is how bad it is that I don't switch off. I dream about fighting a lot and I bite my teeth together like I'm biting down on my gum shield. And I actually broke my wisdom tooth a couple of months ago by biting my teeth together. I had to go get my wisdom tooth took out, which was the worst experience ever because I hate the dentist. So I have to sleep now with a mouthpiece, not a mouth guard, like it's just a little piece that the dentist would give me because I'm grinding my teeth together because I'm dreaming that I'm fighting. But that's how hard it is for me to switch off. But switch off techniques, on a Sunday, I go to hot yoga. It relaxes me. I love it. It helps me.
Yoga. What's hot yoga? In a sauna?
Hot yoga in the sauna, basically. Yeah, do you know what? The first time I ever went,
is it in a sauna?
It's not in a sauna. It's in a hot room, and I mean a hot room.
Right.
It's very, very hot.
Well, it's much easier to stretch, isn't it, when you're in a hot
exactly. Room? Not only is it good for my body as a fighter, but my mind. It's just 90 minutes. It's just nice. Well, it's not relaxing. It's tough, but it's just nice. I'm not in the gym environment. I've just got me and my thoughts. And I can just relax and go with the yoga. It's still very, very tough, but yeah, I love doing that.
Beautiful. James Gentle, we're going to save that question for later on because I've got an actual section on that. So we will spring back to that one. Mike Moss has asked a question from earlier on, actually. Wolfie, put that one on screen, Mike Moss. He says, where can we watch that 90 seconds of resilience, that 90 seconds of instant, remarkable fame? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, put Liam Harrison verse Muay Thai, Muangthai, Muay Thai.
Right, and do that after this call. Still take the notes. So enjoy that this evening as well. Where are we going to go next? Give us the next topic, Wolster. Pressure. Oh, pressure's big, yeah, in success. Do you feel the pressure?
You know what? Yeah, I do, because every time I fight, for many years now, I've been like pound for pound the best fighter from England. So I feel like every time I fight, I've always got the weight of the entire country
Yeah.
on my back. Also, when you get to like the level I've got to, people expect certain things from you. I've got a reputation for having an exciting fighting style. I've got a reputation for being a knockout artist. I've got 50 knockouts from my 90 wins. So people expect to see fireworks when they see me fight. So if I don't perform as well as I think I should have done, obviously that plays on my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's fights where I could win probably pretty comfortable by not taking too many chances, not taking much damage. But sometimes I feel like I have to adhere to what these people want. They want to see violence, they want to see action, they want to see knockouts. So sometimes I end up fighting a little bit crazy, and it's to please other people, really. But obviously, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it as well.
Now, it's amazing external influence, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But that's the pressure from all the people around you. Obviously, I've got a brand to protect when I fight. Do you know what I mean? So I've got like a big brand, Liam Harrison, 8-time world champion. I've got my own training website. I've got my own seminars that I run worldwide. I go do tours of America, tours of Canada, tours of Europe. Who's going to want to learn from a loser? No one.
I think, you know, what you're saying there about expectation, I think the reality is that, you know, when you come new and fresh into sport, and there's still pressure on people. The pressure is because you want to win so much. It's like, I want to win so much. But then when you've got them titles, actually the pressure is now because you're expected to win.
Exactly, yeah. And like I say, going back to like a lot of people want to learn in my seminars. My seminars are basically me. I go around gyms and I teach the techniques that help me get to where I am. So if I start losing fights, people are going to be saying, well, I don't want to learn that.
Let's have a look at one of them. So, in fact, I did get. Let's see if I've got that on screen here. I stole this off your Instagram earlier on. All right, so just grab this. I think that's you teaching some people at seminar, and
yeah, that's one of the sweeps. That is.
Yeah, that is a sweep. He's got a bit of a look of shock on there. So, what's the seminars about? Do you teach them how to handle pressure whilst you're there? I mean.
No, it's basically me. I try and teach them a little bit of my mindset as well, but it's mainly my techniques that have helped me get to elite championship level. And it's just getting those techniques perfected for them as well, when to use them, how to get them perfected right down to the finest of details. Obviously, I do like a little bit of mindset stuff in there as well, and just try and put that across to them. But it's mainly for the technique side of things.
Well, you know, Tony was asking earlier on about how you switch off. So whilst we're on the cheeky Instagram little swipes that I did earlier on, let's check this one out. So I've no idea what this is, but you probably do.
That's my dog.
What's your dog's name then?
She's called Luna.
Luna.
Yeah.
Does that help you switch off? Does Luna help you?
Do you know what? Me and her, we go on some long walks and stuff like that. And it's nice just to get out with her, just me and her out in the forest or around the fields, and just have time where I'm not thinking about fighting, not having to worry about fighting. And it's nice just to come home and just chill with her on the sofa and stuff like that. I'm a massive animal lover, so she's a massive part in me switching off, really. Like I say, if I've had a really hard day at the gym and I need a day off, my day off will be like an active rest day. Me and her will go out for the day, and I'll still be moving around, burning calories, etc. But it'll be like a chill day with me and her.
Yeah, I was coaching a high performance athlete in a former life, and she said to me, she said, I bought a dog to de-stress. The dog was to kind of take the pressure off. Now, what would you say to someone then? Let's get this question here. How can someone develop their ability to not only handle the pressure, but perform under it as well? So there's kind of two parts to that one. What would you say?
With me doing it, there's been a bit of trial and error there. I had to get used to at first, because the first time I'd got to that level, and then I realized how many people were expecting things from me. It were a bit of a shock. So it took a bit of trial and error at first, getting used to it and stuff like that. So developing it, I think you need to it's a tough one, because
is that trial and error the same for everyone?
Pardon?
Say that again, Liam.
Unless you've actually done it until you actually do it, it's a bit of a shock. because
Yeah.
everything's going smooth. And for me, it was like, well, I'm a fighter. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing it for me. I'm winning my fights. And then all of a sudden, I'm number one in England. All of a sudden, I'm a world champion. All of a sudden, everyone in the country's going, Liam's fighting this weekend. Oh, I can't wait to watch Liam fight. And you're like, oh, shit, I've got a duty here. I've got a duty to perform for these people. They are paying hard-earned money out of their pocket to come and watch me, and they expect to see this from me. So I better perform. And like I say, it's a bit at first, it's a bit of a shock. And then you've just got to have faith in your own skills and have faith in your training and have faith in everything that you've put yourself through in the gym. And just realize that you're not actually doing it for them. You're doing it because you love it, but you're doing it. They're part of what you do now. That becomes part of it. And you just got to accept it along with everything else. You've got to accept that there's going to be a lot of fans who want to see you do this. You've got to accept that there's going to be a few critics and a few haters. You've got to accept that you're not going to win every fight. You've got to accept that sometimes you might not perform as well as you should have done. But it's all part of the fight game, and it's all part of life.
Massive, really good points there. Having faith in your skills, having faith in yourself, and then acceptance, what you just said there. I mean, you really labored both those points, faith and acceptance. You think that is a really important part in success, do you?
100%. If you don't, it's a cliche, it trust the process and all that, but you have to do it in everything. I mean, like, there's been times in some of my training when my coach has been making me do the same thing over and over, and I'm going, this is repetitive, I'm bored, let me do something else. No, we're doing this over and over and over. And I'm like, oh dear. And then the thing, when I get into the ring to fight, I would naturally just doing it like that. Boom. Yeah. It's helped win me the fight. That's going back to the cliche, trust the process. Trust what he was telling me to do. Trust it.
Got a question here from Bryn. How do you stop yourself from being frustrated knowing that you're better than your current performance? How do you beat frustration?
So my last fight, I got my patella tendon and my meniscus tore in the first round. It was the biggest fight of my career. The first round, my patella tendon, meniscus, both tore. I couldn't carry on. It only lasted about 90 seconds. The first time that's ever happened in my career, I couldn't stand. I couldn't carry on. It was so frustrating. Yeah. And when I got stretchered out the ring, I got took straight to hospital. I'm undergoing the rehab for it now, and I was so angry at the time, and I didn't know who to be angry at. Do you know what? It was a good kick from my opponent, and my knee buckled and my tendon tore. I mean, it was so frustrating. It took me. I was frustrated for about a week after, because my whole career had been building to this moment. So that was tough. It was a hard pill to swallow when that happened in the first round of that fight. I just had to go back and think, listen, things happen. I always say it happened for a reason. And I mentioned it earlier, everyone loves a comeback. I just had to tell myself, listen, you got yourself in this position before to be the #1 contender for that title. You will do it again. So that's my goal now. And I'm just focused on that. I'm not focused on what's happened. I've left that behind me. There's no point being mad and frustrated about it happening, because it's done. You're not going to get anywhere with it now. I just need to look forward, concentrate on my rehab of my knee, look forward towards my next fight, which will hopefully be in January, and look forward to, you know what, like I said, everyone loves a comeback. Everyone loves a comeback. And then I'm looking forward to now, instead of being mad about what's happened, I'm now looking forward to the challenges I face to get myself back in title contention. So that's
your point there.
Pardon?
Everybody loves a comeback. So do you genuinely believe that's true? Like, even like if someone's in a sales meeting and you've lost the meeting, do the other person like it if you come back at them?
Well, listen, if you've done something in any job that you're in, if you've messed up, and if you think,
so true.
If you've messed up, that's the time when you come back with something big. Say, like you've done a sales pitch, it's bombed. You haven't. It's gone down, and no one's interested in it. But then the next one, you come back and you pull something out the bag that's absolutely ridiculous. Everyone's going to be like, he's back. We knew he had it in him. And we knew he could do it. So yeah, that again, any walk of life. If you bomb, if you drop, if you do something bad, and everyone's nothing can do better than that, and you come back and you do better than that, people love it.
You're right, they do. It's inspirational. Folks, I hope you realize you're getting the insight of a world champion mindset here. There's loads of questions coming in. I'm going to go with some of these. Let's go thick and fast, super quick with some of these. Let's see what we've got here. This is from a LinkedIn user. There's obviously they've not got a name on there. What will differentiate yourself from where you are today and where you are in 5 years' time?
Probably being the wheels. I'm on a walk, I don't think. Do you know what? Again, you're always learning. Do you know what? I'm a completely different person and a completely different fighter to what I was when I was 30 years old. So when I'm 40, maybe I'll still be fighting. I don't know. Maybe I'll have retired. But if I am retiring by that time, I just hope this fire that I've got inside me has died down a bit, because I don't want to get to a point where my body and my brain's telling me, come on, you want to fight, but my body won't let me. At the minute, I'm still, other than my last fight, which was a freak injury. I tore the tendons in my knee. Before that, I've won my last 6 in a row. I'm on good form. I'm still beating all the younger fighters that I come up with against. So maybe I'd like to concentrate on being a great. I've been known as one of the best fighters on the planet. I want to be known as one of the greatest coaches on the planet when I retire. So hopefully, I'll be going into more of the coaching side. I'll be a bit more. There you go. Inside. This fire that I've got and this aggression that I've got, hopefully will have died down, and then.
Answered the question beautifully, and the next question on the screen as well at the same point.
So my number one priority right now is get my rehab of my knee done. I want to be back in the ring in January. I don't want to rush my rehab, but at the same time is of the essence. I'm 37 soon. That is, in a fight, most fighters are retired by the time they're 32, 33.
Yeah.
Especially in this sport, when you're kicking, you're punching your elbow. And there's a lot of trauma up and down your body in this sport. Obviously, you need joints and stuff.
Where does your longevity come from then? What's giving you the staying power?
Like things like I just said, like the hot yoga. I train smart. I eat clean in between my fights. I look after my body. I look after my mind. I ice bath nearly enough every day. A hot sauna 3 times a week. I really do everything to really know as much recovery and stuff as possible, because it's a massive part of your fighting. It's recovery is just as good as a hard day training. You know, so and at my age, I'm sharper, faster, stronger than all these 21-year-olds. Yeah. The only thing I can't do is just shake off injuries as good as them. So I have to be smart about my training, my recovery, my diet. I have to do what they're not doing. If they're cheating with meals and they're going to having McDonald's and stuff like that, I can't afford to do that. I need to stay clean with my diet, because I can't shake. 30-17, yay!
I think that's Steve Gaskell behind the screen. Very good. Look, I'm going to move it on. Wolfie, what's the next topic here that we've got? We will get round to your questions as well, folks. So just keep these comments, keep these questions coming in. The critics, oh God, this is a big one, isn't it? I mean, this is massive right now, not just for you. I mean, young children on social media, the whole thing. I mean,
so I've been trolled for years now about my fight career, but let me tell you, it's never anyone above you. The fire always comes from below. It's always the people who are below you, who can't do what you're doing, who want to do what you're doing, but they can't, who haven't been in your position. The people above you, who are already up there, or they're already champions, they're worrying about being a champion. They're worrying about their mindset. They're focused on their goal. They're not worrying about what people below them are doing. The people below you, that's where the fire gets thrown up from it. And I see this all the time. When I'm trolled online and stuff like that, I shouldn't do this, but sometimes I just click on the profile to have a look at them. And they've never had a fight in their life. Never had a fight in their life. Never stepped in the ring, and they're trolling me about my performances and stuff like that. That's like me going and looking on a snooker video of Ronnie O'Sullivan and going, you're taking that shot wrong, mate. You're chalking your cue all wrong. I don't know anything about snooker. I don't know nothing about snooker. I wouldn't have the audacity to go do it. It's ridiculous.
Let's see what Ronnie says. Hey, let's see what Ronnie says. Someone will share this video with Ronnie, and let's see what
do you know what I mean, though? And there's a couple of fighters who will troll me all the time, and I just think I'm not wasting my breath, because you haven't done what I've done. You haven't been in the fights I've been in. You haven't beat the people I've beat. Where do you get the cheek to even, like my last fight when my knee went, there were a couple of fighters. He quit, he gave up, blah, blah, blah. And I think, he got destroyed. he's going to retire. He's this, he's that. And I just think you have never ever been involved in any of the fights that I've been in. You've never been able to compete with the guys that I've beaten. Even like the lower level guys that I've beaten, you can compete with these guys. Where do you have the audacity to say that about me? I'd never dream of doing that, but that's just the mindset of how some people are. And you have, I go back, you have to accept it's part of the sport. I used to get really annoyed and really angry about it up until about a few years ago. And I just thought, you know what? I like it because now they give me fuel. They give me fire. When they're saying to me now, oh, his knee's gone, he's finished. He won't come back from that. Watch me. Watch me.
Yeah, all right. So now you're saying you turn that into energy and motivation and fuel.
Of course, yeah. I love proving them wrong.
Yeah.
I love it. I've done it my whole career, so I'm going to keep doing it now.
It works as well, you know, that, you know, in this, the science of psychology behind, you know, take something away from someone and they want it a little bit more. So if someone tells you you can't, you're not going to be world champion, you're going to want it a little bit more type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, of course. And like I say, it's always coming from people below you as well. And it's never like the top level guy. I don't know any of the elite level guys. I don't do it. I don't troll people online. It's ridiculous.
What's the worst thing that anyone has ever said to you? And how did you handle it? And how do you stop taking it so personal?
I got beaten in a fight must have been about 14 years ago by a Thai. And he was one of the best fighters on the planet at the time. He was renowned for knocking people out, and he absolutely obliterated me. And at the time, I was on a big high. I was winning all my fights. I'm going, oh, Liam's amazing, Liam's amazing. And then I had this one fight, this one loss, and I got blitzed by this Thai. And I mean, I got blitzed. It was a terrible performance. And everyone would just tap up. He's done. He's finished. That's as good as he can get. He's done. I was like, I'm 23 years old. How am I finished? I said, I've not even got to my prime. And that, it did my nutting for a long, long time, that. And because it wasn't just one person, it was everyone jumping on it going, yeah, he's done, he's finished, he's had his day, he can't compete at this level. And like that, it was just playing on my mind. So I begged for a rematch with this guy, and we had a rematch, and I wiped the floor with him. And I remember I ran up to the camera afterwards and I grabbed the camera and I went, who's finished?
So if you had to pull out, you know, what you attribute that success down to in that, if there was 2 or 3 points, you know, for you wiping the floor with him afterwards, what were the success factors there?
So one of them is you've got a guest coming on soon called Vinny Shawman.
Yeah.
I worked with him for that fight. He's a mind coach for sports athletes.
Yes.
And me and him, that was the first time. So I got stopped in that fight. I'd had about 50 fights at the time. I'd never been stopped. I'd won the vast majority of my fights. 90% of my fights I'd won. And this Thai wipes the floor with me, obliterated me. And I said after that, there was something just not right there. I know I can beat him. And I begged for a rematch. I begged all the promoters in England. So the biggest promoter in England, he put on a big show at the MEN Arena in Manchester, the biggest Thai boxing show England's ever seen. And he put me and him as the main event. So in the fight, I trained hard just like I always do. But Vinny said to me, he said, do you want to do some work? And I'd not worked with him. I knew what he did, but I'd not worked with him. And he did some mind coaching with me. It's hard to go into what he did because it's different for everyone, but he instilled a few things into me into the fight. And everything this Thai hit me with bounced off me in the rematch. Everything. He couldn't hurt me. And I won very, very comfortably. After the fight, I went to the after party. I had a drink. I had a bottle of water. I passed out. The ambulance came. It took me to hospital. I had a really bad concussion. But he had just put me in this mind state where everything just bounced off me. Right. Maybe without his help, the shot that gave me the concussion might have knocked me out. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe it was placebo. But what he did for me that night, I think were absolutely unbelievable. And I've worked with Vinny a few times. He's incredible what he does.
Yeah, look, Bryn's got another question here. Who's been your greatest influence? Was it a bully or was it a role model? Interesting, Bryn.
You know what? My dad is one of my best role models because although he wasn't a fighter, he was, when he was younger, when you were growing up, just before I was born and stuff, he was just a bit of a bad lad, and he you know what I mean? And listening to my mum like how bad he used to be and stuff until I was born, and how he just knocked it all on the head, and he got himself into a position and worked his way up the ladder at work and stuff like that. And how he taught me how to have manners, how to be disciplined, and pushed me to do well in sports and stuff like that. And he came to all my football games. He's followed me around the world. I remember when I was 17, I went to fight in Japan, and my dad came with me. He came all the way to Tokyo with me, and he's always been there for me. He's always been a great role model. And when I've lost and stuff, he's like showed me how to handle defeats like a man and be respectful. And yeah, although he wasn't a fighter, he was always been my number one role model. In the gym, when my coach Richard's probably 55 years old now, so he's been my coach since I was 13. So when I first started this sport, Richard was still fighting. I remember I watched him fight at Leeds Town Hall. He fought the number one guy from Japan, and I watched him fight. And I thought, wow, that was unbelievable. It was a great fight. And so Richard and my dad have been my two best role models. Obviously, there's a lot of amazing fighters who I look up to. I won't reel them off because people won't know who they are. But Richard and my dad have been my two best ones.
Thank you very much. Wolfie, let's go on next subject. And look, I'm going to put this question from Lucas Vigilante on screen. How do you keep that little voice we all have in our heads quiet?
The voice of doubt.
Yeah.
It's a tough one to get hold of. Because if you let that voice keep creeping and creeping and creeping, that won't be a little voice anymore. It'll be a scream. And the scream will engulf you. And then once it engulfs you, that's it. Then you need to just... Any negative thoughts whatsoever... So, Vinny will probably tell you this one when he does your talk. Like a thing like with a negative thoughts, he always tells them, says, just tell it to off. You know what I mean? He says, get rid of them. Honestly, so I put to me, it creeps in. What if this guy does this when I fight him? What if you get away, do one? It's not happening. He's got to keep the positive thoughts. And
I tell you what, when you act it out there, it's just so powerful, as you were saying. Get away, it's not happening. I mean, is that what you actually kind of do and say in your own head?
Yeah, you've got to see you do one on your bike. It's not happening. Yeah, just get it out. Just tell yourself, it's not. Get away.
Whoa. There's loads of stuff that's coming in here. Drew, what's your routine before stepping into the ring? Do you have like a winning routine?
No, not really. You'll warm up, you'll hit the pads a little bit, you'll get all your body, you'll go in. You just got to get yourself in. I love it. I love the warm up to a fight, like the build up to a fight. A lot of people, I've seen so many top level people who are incredible in the gym. They're amazing, but I've watched them lose the fight from the walk from the changing room to the walk to the ring. I've seen them just deflate. They'll leave the changing room like that, and by the time they get to the ring, they're like, because they let it. I love it. I embrace it. I love the warm up. I love walking to the ring and all the crowd are either booing or screaming for you or cheering for you. I love stepping into the ring and looking around. I love every aspect of fighting. Like I say, I'm obsessed by it. So like I don't have like a set routine. I just like drinking it in, all the energy from the crowds and stuff like that. And yeah, I just like to savor the moment. Like every fight's different. Every crowd's different. The energy's different in every arena you go to. I remember I fought in Shanghai, and there were 15,000 people in the arena in Shanghai, and I was fighting against a Thai fighter. Obviously, he's Asia, they're Asia. They all booed me when I walked to the ring. Now, I lost this fight on points, but it was one of the most ridiculous wars I've ever been in my career. It was crazy. And when I left, everyone stood up and cheered for me, even though I lost. I won the heart of the people. So all that stuff, I love doing that. I love being part of that and winning the crowd over and stuff like that. That's all just part of being a fighter.
Have you ever thought about giving up? Has that thought ever come in?
Do you know what? Sometimes when I'm struggling with injuries and stuff like that, I think, you know what? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this?
Yeah.
I can do my seminars. I've got my training website, which is flying. I can just travel the world doing seminars, not get hurt, not put my body through the mill. And then I think, I got back to what I said earlier, is the juice worth the squeeze? Yeah, always. That again, that's one of them thoughts that goes in going, mate, you don't need to do this. And then you have to go on your bike. I want to do this. I want to do it. I'm doing it because I love it. So like what's my why of getting in there and fighting and that buzz that I just told you about that I get from fight day and all the different things that happens, that why is bigger than your body's hurting, you're in pain all the time, you're tired. My why is always bigger.
Tony said, do you visualize? Do you see yourself winning before it happens?
So what I visualize after the fight. I visualize the commentator who gets in the ring to interview you when you've won. I visualize going back into the changing room and everyone's going, oh, Liam, that were amazing. What a fight. Great fight. I visualize seeing my family afterwards and we're all celebrating together. I visualize getting the championship belt put around my waist. I try not to visualize the fight itself because you never know what's going to happen in a fight. I just visualize what I'm going to feel like after I won. And it's then
Really
15
powerful.
minutes. It's then 15 minutes afterwards that those feelings, that's what you're chasing. That's the buzz you're chasing. You want everyone to be crowding around you. Going, Liam, that was the best fight we've seen. I want everyone to be leaving the arena going, Liam Harrison did it again. I want everyone to be leaving going, oh, wow, Liam, what a fight that was. So I visualize those things because that's the buzz that I want. You know, I want to get.
Well, just for the audience here, what does it actually feel like to be crowned world champion then?
I don't know. It's an hard one to feel that because I look at it as like titles. The champion, the fighter makes the title. The title doesn't make the fighter. So I see fighters out there who've won Mickey Mouse world titles and they've fought people who aren't that good. And then they run around calling themselves world champion. If you fight another elite level fighter for the title and then you win it like that, that's what makes it. Yeah. That's what makes a champion. But I don't go on like how many world title belts I've got. I go on about with how many elite fighters I've beaten, how many elite fighters I've been in there with. So that's for me, that taking an elite level fighter's name is more than the actual. The belt is just a piece that goes on your mantelpiece. Don't get me wrong, it's great, it's buzzing. But when you beat a real champion for his title, that's better for me.
Okay, look, we got 30 minutes left, folks. We got these quick fire questions that's coming in. What's been your lowest moment? What's been the lowest of low moments?
I'm in it right now, and it's been very tough.
Right now is your lowest moment in your career.
Yeah, because I've had low moments before, but I've always come back. Right now, I haven't had my comeback yet. I'm waiting for my comeback to happen. Like I've lost fights before, I've come back, I've won the rematch, amazing. I fought my way back. I've lost fights, I've dropped down the rankings, I've worked my way back up. I've always got there. Everything I did, it led me to this fight I've just had. It was the biggest fight in my career. I was so excited for it. I was so amped up for it. I got injured in the first round. Again, like I said, all the trolls and the critics start piping up. And now I'm just sat around rehabbing my leg, waiting for myself to get better, waiting for my comeback. And you know what? I put so much energy into getting myself in this position. Like I say, I was on a 6-fight winning streak. I'd give everything in training. I'd literally live like a monk. I went back to Thailand, and obviously I'd give so much. It was so frustrating to get injured like that in the first round. So I've been miserable for the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you, and it's tough sometimes. And sometimes I struggle a little bit when if I'm out of my routine, which is what I've been in since I was 13, 14 years old. Training, have a fight. Training, have a fight. When I get injured like this, I'm not sure what's the next move. I get a little bit thrown off. But like I said, I'm just looking forward now to my next fight. I've got tunnel vision. I'm going to get my rehab done, and that's going to be that. And I'm going to build my way back up the ladder, and I'll get the shot again.
I like your analogy there that you said, actually. When I get frustrated like this and I'm not sure what my next move is, you see, that's relatable to everyone on this call in every walk. What's my next move? And it's all right to be a little bit unsure and feel a bit.
It is. I'll tell you what, mate. In lockdown, I was a mess because I thought there were no fights. The gyms were shut. I was in a really, really bad place, and it was tough just keeping my focus. Then thinking, is this my career over? Is this how it ends? Just like this. They lock the country down. There's no more. How long is this going to last? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm getting old. What's going to happen when I go back to the gym? It's been months. Am I going to be still as good? It was a tough time. So that was really tough mentally on me. But again, you just have to try and just block them voices out and have that tunnel vision and just think of what's going to come forward.
Wolf, let's move on to the next area. I think we've got the next area that we're actually going to speak on. A number of questions have come in on this. Motivation, really, obviously, really important. What is motivation? What is it?
Do you know what motivation? For me, everyone always asks me, how do you still stay motivated? You're 36, you've won 8 world titles, you fought all the best fighters. It comes back to obsession. I just love my job and my sport, and I just love everything about what I do. It's like I don't need to be motivated to do it. I just do it because I love it. That's so much. the motivation for me is the love of what I'm doing. I honestly, I'm going to be absolutely devastated when my body gets to a point where it can't do what it's doing now anymore, and it just slows down that little bit. And because honestly, I love it so much, and I'm just so, like I say, obsessed by it. That's where my motivation comes from, just the love of what I'm doing.
Well,
I don't
earlier
need.
on, you said about the future. What it can bring you is the coaching and the calmness. You said about it bringing as well.
Yeah, but
Obsessed
obviously,
with that.
winning for me, this winning and the feeling I get is a drug that nothing else can compare to on the planet. So that's what I'm afraid of, letting that go, because like I say, I love the buzz of fight day. I love the fight itself. I don't mind losing a fight as long as I've given everything and the crowd have been entertained as well. So I love all of that about it, and I like the winning feeling. Nothing compares to that on earth, nothing whatsoever. So that's what I'm scared about letting go. So maybe that's my motivation. That the drug, the winning is a drug. Maybe that's what motivates me to keep pushing, going for that high, always chasing that high.
All right. Well, look, let's just stay on this. I'm going to put this name on screen. Floyd Mayweather. What's the first thing that you think when I write that?
One of the hardest working athletes of all time.
Well, tell us more about that.
His mindset. I've watched documentaries on how he used to train, and now don't get me wrong, a lot of people don't like the guy. He did a lot of unsavory things outside of the ring. Sometimes he comes across as a bit of an idiot in his interviews and stuff, but his work ethic is unmatched. That's why no one could beat him. He used to do crazy things, like he would wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and think, I want to go train. My opponent in training now, he'd ring his team and say, right, I want to train, get to the gym. Everyone had to be at the gym, and he put in a massive session at 3 in the morning. That's obsession. That's dedication. That's getting out of your comfort zone. That's insane levels of obsession. That's why his opponents are still being in bed, and he's working and grafting and pushing. Yeah. He was always the hardest worker in the room, and his mindset, so the way he used to train for fights, it was unmatched. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, look, you mentioned comfort zone a few times here. Let's just get that on screen here. Here's a nice little quote for you. This is from an exceptional lady in leadership and mindset development, Brené Brown. You can choose courage or you can choose comfort, but you cannot choose them both. I had that sent to me on earlier on this week from someone in a WhatsApp group of all things. So, and I thought, oh, I'll share that on screen today. You've brought it up a few times. All right, we've got one more, and I'm going to let you pronounce this person's name. Triple G.
I love this guy. So Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, he's one of my favorite boxers of all time.
Why is he so important to you?
His style, again, his mindset. He's fighting this weekend actually against Canelo. He's a bit old, Golovkin now. He's 40 or 41 years old, so he's coming towards the end of his career. But I just loved his strictly business attitude. He's one of the only fighters who's been able to become box office because of the way he fights, and not without him. He doesn't have to run his mouth. He doesn't have to do anything. He's just strictly business. He doesn't trash talk. He doesn't do anything. He just gets down to it and gets the job done. He's also one of the most vicious and ferocious punchers of this era. So just watching him and his mind, you can see when he fights, he faces that he pulls. He's like a Terminator. He walks through punches like they're nothing, and you can do. He just everything about him. I just love everything about the guy. He just his air of everything is.
A number of people actually commenting behind the scenes. You can't see the comments that we can right now. I mean, Lucas has just said, "I'd like to be that energized when I'm miserable." You're like a Terminator. To us on this now, you're the Terminator. This is the worst moment that you're in. You've found your definite purpose. Tony has just said. We've got who we got here. What's this?
I really hope GGG beats him. If he beats him, it's going to take something magical. But I hope he's just got one big performance left in the bag, and he beats Canelo, because he definitely won the first fight. He got robbed in the first fight. The second one could have gone either way, but the first fight he got robbed. So I hope he can pull something out of the bag. It's going to be a big ask at 40 years old, but you never know.
Well, guess what, folks? Let's have a look. I did say at the start, I'm going to ask you at the end what your learning points from this session have been. And it's time to start sharing that, what you have taken from this session that you're going to start absolutely implementing in your business, your life from this day on. So start putting that in the question box now. And I'm going to share on screen a video with you now because it's kind of a bit of a big announcement, really. We've got a business and life-changing event that's going to have a major impact on business growth in the UK, and it's around the corner. So whilst you're putting your learning points in from today, enjoy this 45-second video. We are going to be sharing your learning points on screen with Liam as well after this 45-second video. Over to you, Wolfie. There we go. Yes, that is coming in. It's going to have a massive impact on UK businesses. Let's get some learning points now as well from the session. I don't know if this is a question. Let's have a look. At the right age, someone started Muay Thai at the ripe age of 30, and after your comeback against Muay Thai, any advice for a new person in this sport? Have you any advice?
Do you know what? Just enjoy your training, listen to your coaches, get online and pick a few good pages on Instagram of fighters that you enjoy watching. Have a look through their pages, try and pick up little bits from them, and just enjoy it, mate. It's an incredible sport, and like I said, it's addictive. So just enjoy it, enjoy the journey, and if you decide that you're going to have a fight, all the best and good luck.
Let's see what the learning points are. Who is this one in first? Visualize the results. I love that one. That was a massive point that you shared there. Visualize the outcome afterwards. That 15 minutes of celebration, I think you'd said. Critics, it will never come from above. It's always below. There's loads of comments on that. I love the juice worth a squeeze. What else have we got here? Don't be mad about what's happen, be driven about what's next. Nice one. Bryn's coming in again. When you get knocked down, get back up. Positive mindset. BFO. Fall down. You've the choice to get back up or stay down forever. Remember what you said there? You did not want to look in that mirror.
Yeah, well, there's a quote in the pain's temporary, pride is forever. That's the quote. So
beautiful. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Keep them learning points coming in, folks. And what have we got to look forward to next week? Let's just get that on screen as well, and then we'll get a final goodbye from Liam. So next week on the Big Friday Finish, you've got Jonathan J, the man who knows a thing or two about business, buying them and selling them. It's rich content. It's high leverage education around buying a business without risking your own cash. Business valuation, growth, wealth creation. There you have it. That's next week. So just on behalf of everybody on the call today, Liam, thank you so much for being with us. Are there any final words that you want to say to the audience today?
Nah, do you know what? I think we got through quite a lot there of just the main one, just about persevere. Persevere. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop pushing. Don't ever stop striving to be better than you were today. You always want to push that little bit extra. Your biggest enemy is yourself. Try and always just be that little 1%. One of my coaches has got to say, he says to me every day, 1% better every day. Every time I walk out the gym, you were 1% better today than you were yesterday. So yeah, persevere and just keep striving to be better.
And remember, folks, this is your community. It's a community of business owners, professionals, entrepreneurs, personal development junkies, all that want to grow and succeed in both business and life. So subscribe now, set the alerts, share this with everybody that you know. Join us next week at 3:59. And Liam, we want to get you back at some point in the future. You're welcome to join this community. Anyone that's in your community, Liam, they can join this community each and every week. We roll at 4 o'clock. We finish the week in style. And we've finished it in style this week. Liam Harrison, thank you very much.
Thank you
Enjoy
for
your
having
week.
me, mate. Thank you.